Gigi's Yellow Garden by Adam Peterson. On a quiet corner at the intersection of Neal Street and Trotter Drive, a garden of yellow flowers shone brightly amidst the cobblestone walks. Stacked stones and bricks surrounded the garden, and behind it sat a lovely two-story home that belonged to Gigi Guinea. Gigi loved her garden. On most days, she could be found tending to the flowers, watering and weeding. One day, Harry Hamster strolled by with his daughter, Henrietta. Henrietta was crying and holding her elbow. "What's the matter, little one?" asked Gigi, concerned. "She tripped on the sidewalk and scraped her elbow," replied Harry. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. How about a flower?" Gigi reached into her garden and picked a long-stemmed yellow flower. She offered it to Henrietta. "Here you go, Henrietta. Flowers always brighten my day." The young hamster grasped the flower in her outstretched paw, and a smile spread across her face. "Thank you, Gigi. What do I owe you for the flower?" "Oh, don't be silly, sir," giggled Gigi, tapping a little wooden sign that hung on a post to the side of her garden. Harry looked down and read the sign, "On your honor." "That's a lesson Grandma Guinea taught my Daddy Guinea, and then who taught it to me," Gigi shared. "If someone wants to leave something for a flower, great. If not, she can just take one. I don't make anyone pay for flowers. I just like to see others smile." After a smile and a thank you, Harry and Henrietta went on their way. The next morning, Gigi stepped outside to work in her garden and was surprised to see a yellow balloon tied to the little wooden sign. Attached to the string of the balloon was a note that simply read, "Thanks for the flower, Mr. H." Gigi's heart felt fuller than ever. She had given flowers away for as long as she could remember, but never before had she been given something so sweet in return. Little did she know what she had just started in her garden and how it would change the world around her forever. As Gigi was admiring the balloon, Mrs. Squirrel and young Sammy Squirrel scurried by. "Balloon, balloon!" shouted Sammy. His whiskers twitched with excitement as he watched the balloon sway in the breeze. "Would you like the balloon?" asked Gigi. "What does it cost?" questioned Mrs. Squirrel. "Oh, no charge at all, ma'am. If the balloon makes him happy, he can have it," Gigi replied, delighted to pass it on. "Someone brightened my day with it, so if it makes him smile, it's all his." "Thank you so much, Gigi." Mrs. Squirrel gave Gigi a hug. Sammy gave her a high five, and then the two squirrels went on their way. Sammy giggled and tugged on the string of the balloon as he skipped down the sidewalk ahead of his mother. Another day passed, and Gigi was hard at work in her garden when Sammy Squirrel scampered down a nearby tree. He handed Gigi a piece of paper before heading off to school. Gigi unfolded the paper and found a note scribbled in yellow crayon. It read, "Thank you for making my day yellow. Love, Sammy." Gigi watched young Sammy scurry off to school, and she felt a small teardrop wet on her cheek. She began to feel a sense of pride as she thought of the lesson her Grandma Guinea had passed down to her. "I made someone's day yellow," she thought. As she looked up at the sky, Gigi knew her grandma was watching over her and would be proud of the kindness that she was spreading. The young guinea pig had never intended for her garden to become what it had. She just loved the color yellow, and that made the way it made her feel inside. She never knew that it would make the lives of others so bright and happy. Gigi wiped the happy tears from her cheek and went back to work, tending to her garden. Spring passed, summer months faded away, and fall weather made its way to town. Though the flowers had begun to wilt away for the year, Gigi's garden was still aglow with yellow. You see, Gigi's lesson of kindness had sparked something in the neighborhood that the winter cold could not stop. It started with flowers, balloons, and notes, but the garden soon became the place for all things yellow. When passers-by needed a pick-me-up, they could always find the joy they needed in Gigi's yellow garden. Thanks to Gigi's lesson, they always left something yellow behind for the next neighbor who came along in search of a smile. The garden had become a place that was more about feelings than flowers. Gigi was happier than ever watching her neighbor's reaction as they passed her yellow garden. Where she once looked out and saw yellow flowers, Gigi's eyes now focused on the smiles that the garden brought to the faces of all who happened to walk by. Whether a stranger or a friend, everyone found happiness in the yellow that spread far beyond the stones, bricks, and cobblestone sidewalk. One cold winter morning, Gigi was braving the temperatures to shovel the snow off the sidewalk in front of her house. As she scooped the snow in front of her garden, she saw the snow and the dirt began to move within. She was startled when Maurice Mole popped his gray-haired head out through the dirt and snow. "Good morning, Maurice. How are you?" Gigi asked, happy to see her friend. Maurice was shivering and had icicles forming on his long gray whiskers. "I'm doing well, Gigi, just a little cold. It's freezing down in my tunnels." Maurice could barely get his answer out between the shivers. "You're going to catch a cold down there," said Gigi, worried about her friend. "Here, take my scarf to help you stay warm." "Really? You mean it?" asked Maurice as he reached out for the warm yellow scarf. "Of course, I have more scarves in my house and I can go right inside and get another one," replied Gigi. "Use it to stay warm down in your tunnels. I insist." "Oh, thank you so much, Gigi, but I have nothing to give you in return." Gigi responded, "Oh, hush now. You don't owe me anything at all. I'm just glad I can help." "Wait a minute," shouted Maurice abruptly as he ducked inside his hole. Maurice erupted from his hole in excitement. "Take this shiny rock I just found. I bumped into it when I was digging under your garden. I know it isn't much, but that's all I have to give you in return for your kindness." Gigi once again felt that warm feeling rush through her heart. "You really don't need to give me that, Maurice, but this is the most beautiful rock I have ever seen. I will cherish it forever. Thank you for making my day yellow." Gigi hugged her friend goodbye and Maurice disappeared inside his tunnel. Gigi gripped the rock tightly, picked up her shovel, and headed into her house to get warm. Many of Gigi's neighbors had probably passed that rock before. Even Gigi wondered if she had tossed it to the side at one time while weeding her garden. To most, this was just a dirty gray rock, but to Gigi, it meant so much more. It was proof that even though her grandma Guinea had passed away long ago, the lessons she taught were alive and well, and it was the greatest gift